blinded by the sun.
I know, that's why I'm sitting over here in the shade.
I don't know what I was thinking getting us so close to the fire. I thought it would be cool though.
It looks nice. Hey everyone, welcome to our backyard.
Our hot backyard.
Our hot backyard. It has gotten quite warm, and plus we have a fire going behind us.
We were just sitting out here talking about our trip, and we're like, let's make a video and talk about what we thought about it. I was like, let's do it in front of the fire. Well, it's kind of warmed up a little bit, and that fire is like crawling up our necks right now. Oh well, hope it looks cool. Wonder what the temperature is. I'm just curious. That's 79 degrees.
Yeah, it's kind of warm.
It's too hot. We just got back from Mexico, as you know. We're paying homage to our trip. Of course, I got me a nice Corona Premier, and Elisa.
I have sangria. I know you can't see it, but this actually keeps my wine cold. Cheers.
Cheers. And cheers.
Yeah, so we thought we would sit down and talk about our trip. This is our first land trip to Mexico. Of course, we've been to Cozumel several times on a cruise. We've been to Costa Maya a few times on a cruise, but it's the first time we're flying over to Mexico, and we are going through a pandemic right now. So talk a little bit about safety precautions and then just our overall experience in Mexico.
Yeah, what it was like to travel during COVID, what it was like to fly to Mexico, what it was like to stay at an all-inclusive resort. It was like any other flight except we wore masks. The airports were less congested, to say the least. You know, not as many restaurants were open. The airports were not buzzing like they normally are. But the airplanes almost packed out, and everybody had to wear a mask. The requirement was you had to wear a mask on. If you didn't have one, they would give you one.
Right.
No bandanas, a mask.
So just overall talking about safety procedures that we experienced on this trip. So when we got to the airport, whenever you get into the airport, the mask has to be on. You have to social distance within the airport as best you can. When you get to your gate, the gates are a little bit more congested and there's not as much social distancing going on, but in the overall airport, you can spread out in the security line, you can spread out in all the check-in lines, the food lines, things like that. The tables are spread out where you can sit down and eat and take your mask off in like the food court areas, or go get you a cup of coffee and you can enjoy that just as you would. But when you're done, you put your mask back on.
The airports aren't as congested. You get through security faster. You get to order your hamburger from Wendy's or wherever you're eating,
Right.
You know, much faster. All those things go faster because there's just less people.
Right. I think it took us a total of 3 minutes to get through security. I mean, it was crazy how quickly that we got through everything. It was fantastic. So that is, I guess, a benefit of traveling with all that's going on is there are less people traveling. So the airports are easier to manage.
No one was acting crazy. It wasn't anything like out of the normal other than the fact everybody's got masks on. I mean,
Right.
I guess that's out of the normal, but you know what I'm saying. But it was business as usual, just less of it.
As far as the flight goes, in between each flight, the airplanes are sanitized.
Oh, yeah.
To You'll see everyone coming off, and then there is a period of time before the next plane boards because they are sanitizing the planes completely. They've got new air filtration systems in the planes to keep the air fresh. So definitely precautions have been taken and new protocols are in place to keep you safe while you travel.
Right. They will allow social distancing and every other seat kind of thing if it's not a sold out flight. But if it is a sold out flight, they put you right next to somebody.
Yeah, we were lucky both going to Cancun and coming back that we did have a row to ourselves.
Yeah.
So we just...
That never happened.
That never happened.
So that was really nice.
It was nice.
Our flight was about 2.5 hours. I thought it was going to be really bad to wear a mask for that long because I just don't wear masks for that long. The only time I wear them is put them on, go to the grocery store, come out, that kind of thing. But it wasn't bad, you guys. I had my little games on my phone and I'd play those, and before you knew it, it was over. It just really wasn't a big deal to me.
As far as going into Mexico, so of course you do have to show your passport and things like that whenever you're doing check-in because you are leaving the United States, so just be prepared for that. Of course, you do have to have a passport to go to Mexico. On the plane, they gave us our immigration and health questionnaires. So we were able to fill them out on the plane, so we had them ready to go whenever we got into the customs and immigration's lines. So it made things go by really quickly. Once we landed in Cancun, it was a pretty streamlined process going through, showing our ID, showing our health questionnaire, and
Make sure that you fill out the American part and the part that is Mexican, because we forgot to do the Spanish part.
okay, so that's on me. The immigration form has two parts, a top and a bottom, and it's primarily in Spanish and then secondary in English, so I didn't catch on to the fact that the top and bottom needed to be completed.
Neither did I.
They tear them apart, and one stays in your passport until you get ready to leave Mexico, and you turn it back in.
Do not lose that. You will have a major headache. Keep that in your passport. Keep that thing as safe as you would keep your passport.
Absolutely. All right, so once you go through immigration and you get your passport stamped and they give you the immigration card to keep in your passport, then you go through customs. They literally only asked us if we had anything to declare. They saw we carrying around our camera, so they asked us if we had any other camera gear. We told them everything we had. They asked us if we had a drone too, and we said yes, we have a drone, and they said okay, go on.
Once we got through immigration, you're going to have a lot of people trying to corral you over and try to sell you timeshares, and they're going to make you think they're giving you stuff, but they're not, because we got suckered in for 15 minutes of this big ordeal because we had never flown into Mexico before, so this was a first for us guys.
Yeah.
So we got suckered in just like everybody else does. Don't do it. Keep your eye on the door and just keep walking and ignore all that. When you get outside of the airport, that's when you're going to rendezvous with your transfer.
Right. So some hotels will have transportation that will come and pick you up from the airport, and that's included in your stay, and some don't. If you stay at a hotel that does not, I recommend booking a transfer ahead of time. There are taxis at the airport, but I've heard bad stories about them and price gouging and stuff. So in my opinion, book a transfer. We used a company called eTransfers, and we'll leave a link down in the description. But we had a transfer from the airport to the hotel at Hard Rock, then Hard Rock to Unico, and then Unico back to the airport. Easy peasy. They were great to work with.
Yep, no problems, no problems. We met him, took about 2 minutes, then they loaded us up, transferred us over to the Hard Rock. Once we got to the Hard Rock, there was other steps that we had to do as far as sanitation.
Right, so the first thing they did is they took our luggage and they sanitized our luggage. They took our backpacks and sanitized them. They had like a spray bottle with
spritzed it down.
And we had to stand on a pad that sanitized our shoes. And then going into the front door, we had to hand sanitize our hands, and they took a temperature check before we could enter the building. Then once in the building, we went to the check-in area, and that was the most amazing safety protocols we've ever seen there.
Yeah, it really was. Before we could walk forward and check in, he walked around the counter, wiped everything down, walked back around, then said, come forward. They basically wiped our cards down. When we gave them a credit card to keep on file, they give you a questionnaire basically asking if you've been into contact with anybody with COVID, if you've been running a fever, you know, XYZ, all those. They give you a pen with a set of tongs, you know, just crazy measures to keep the sanitation in check, and they did a great job.
And then once we were checked in and went up to our room was sealed. There was a sticker on the door frame that said that this room has been sanitized for your safety. We peeled the sticker off, and our room was immaculately clean.
Yeah.
And then every other day they come in and they fog all of the rooms. So they have literally a fog machine, and they come in and do like a complete cleaning, sanitizing of the room every other day of your stay.
True story. We would be in there, and they'd come knocking on the door looking like Ghostbusters with their little packs and their wands, ready to fog. Gives you peace of mind. You really feel safe, and you really feel like they're taking measures to keep you safe.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, you know, wearing a mask wasn't a big deal, you guys. We had to wear a mask in the common areas, basically in the lobby area. That was it. We would take our mask off in our room. When we left our room, we'd go down. If we went into the shops or whatever, just in the common areas, in the lobbies, you'd have to wear a mask. If you went into the restaurants, you could remove your mask once you sat at your table to eat your food and drink your beverages. When you went outside of the building, you could remove your mask.
Right. Yeah, because outside you have number one fresh air and you have more space to social distance. So the lounge chairs by the pool were spread out. The lounge chairs at the beach were spread out. So you were, 6 feet away from the next couple around you. So social distancing wasn't an issue and masks were not necessary. So did you feel that the mask hampered your fun at all?
No, absolutely not. And I'm surprised because I really thought it was going to. To my surprise, it didn't. And I'm very glad about that. I think it all has to do with mindset. It's the times we're living in right now. They're crazy times, right? So we just kind of went there in our head and accepted what we were going to have to do. And we weren't going to let that get in our way of having fun and moving on with our lives. And I think that's what everybody needs to start doing, So it actually didn't bother me at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, we didn't spend a lot of time in the lobbies. We spent most of our time outside or in the restaurants eating. We didn't have our mask on a whole lot. When we would come inside from the pool or from the beach, we'd put our mask on and we'd go up to our room, take our mask off. It wasn't a big deal at all.
No.
And it really didn't damper my vacation near as much as I thought it was. It wasn't even really an issue.
No, I totally agree with Jason. I was worried that, having to wear a mask on vacation was going to suck. And I was like, do I really want to go on vacation where I have to wear a mask? Don't let it bother you. And I know we've had the same discussions about cruise ships. I don't want to go on a cruise ship and have to wear a mask. It's going to be the same thing. In the common areas, you need to wear a mask. When you're outdoors, in your own room, on your own balcony, they're not required.
But really, it wasn't an issue whatsoever. Didn't bother me at all. Do I want to get used to it? Nah, I want to go back to normal. Okay, but with that said, I'm not going to wait around on normal to come back.
Exactly.
I'm going to move on with my life and I'm going to go vacation.
Yeah.
And so, in the meantime, I'm going to wear my mask. You didn't have to wear your mask near as much there as you did here at home.
No, yeah. And the way all the protocols that we saw, we felt completely safe all the time. We've been back for over 2 weeks. We did not get sick, so this is the second time we've traveled. We went to California to see Ethan, and now we've gone to Mexico.
Hopefully we don't get sick. We're not saying that we're not going to get sick. We hope we don't. We were responsible. We washed our hands. We wore our mask. We did all the things that we needed to do to respect others, people's space and our space. And as long as you do those things, you can go vacation, get on with your life, have a good time. We did, and I have no regrets whatsoever.
No, not at all.
And a matter of fact,
I'm ready to go back.
We're about to go back and do it again.
I can't wait.
That's
to go
another
back
video.
Again.
Yeah. Hard Rock was fantastic, all inclusive. We have never done an all inclusive before. I mean, other than jumping off the cruise ship and spending 3 or 4 hours there, but we've never really flew to the area and stayed. And let me tell you what, I'm sold. Will we do it again?
Hell yes.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Guys, it's basically the same thing as a cruise ship, except you're not moving, all right? You have all the food you can eat, all the drinks you can drink. You got infinity pools overlooking the beach. What's better about an all-inclusive than a cruise ship is that we enjoyed going to the beach at nighttime.
Yes. Oh,
and
God, yes.
watching the sunset, hanging out under the stars and the moon, and we would just play us a little music on our phone, have our little drinky drinks, and just zone out. You guys, you can't do that on a cruise ship because it's kind of a bit a hustle and bustle, and that's okay too, but it's way more laid back, no hustle and bustle. It's as chill as you want it to be, and to me, that's what vacation is about.
Yeah, I will tell you that this experience was a more relaxing experience than a cruise in the fact that you don't have those port days that you have to get up at the crack of dawn because you've got an excursion. You got to hurry up and get off the ship, hurry up and eat
I don't
breakfast.
like those.
Are we going to stop cruising? Of course
No,
not. We
of
love
course
cruising,
not.
but this is a fantastic alternative for
Don't-
right now when we can't cruise.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to stop cruising, but we're going to add this to our repertoire.
What are you doing, Jason?
Oh, I'm getting a beer.
Jason brought him a little cooler out here, so he's prepared with a cold beer so he doesn't have to go inside and stop the video.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Nice and cold. Always be prepared. I was a Boy Scout.
This keeps mine cold. It's not a Yeti brand, but it's basically a Yeti wine glass. So yeah, it keeps my wine nice and cold.
Yeti, Freddie. We highly recommend, if you guys have never been to an all-inclusive, definitely give it a chance. You will be pleasantly surprised. It is fantastic. If you want to book excursions, you can book excursions. Hard Rock had kiosks throughout the resort. They had staff there to explain to you all the different excursions that they had through the hotel that would provide the shuttle, would provide transportation, and all that, just like a cruise ship,
Yep.
all right there within the resort. Totally safe. You can do as much or as little as you want at an all-inclusive.
Oh yeah, so we had a day where like we're not doing anything except going to the beach and getting some food and enjoying ourselves. And then another day was like, you know, okay, we've done the beach, let's do something different. And Jason found an awesome excursion for us where we went on speedboats and snorkeling and zip lining. It was fantastic. It was only 5 minutes away. Transportation was included. Great price, and shoot, that was awesome.
It was awesome.
Awesome. So just a little bit about what is included in an all-inclusive resort. So every resort's different. You just have to kind of look at how they price their rooms and categorize their rooms. But you know, you're going to have your garden views, your partial ocean views, your beach fronts, your suites. It all depends on how much you want to spend on that room. But as far as the all-inclusive experience, all of your meals are included. Room service is included, your mini bar is included, all of your drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, are included. Your pools, unlimited, beach towels. If you want to have lounge chairs with an umbrella on the beach, you just say, "Excuse me, I would like to have a couple of lounge chairs." No problem. Let me go dig a hole in the sand and put your.
Yeah, they treat everybody like they're VIP. Speaking of VIP, there is a VIP area on the 3rd floor, but it was kind of boring. Really wasn't my kind of vibe, but it might be your vibe. If you like to be secluded and away from everybody else, it had a couple of nice circular pools, not real large, but not real small. Really nice lounge areas, kind of elevated from the rest of the area, that you could go and just kind of chill. It was very quiet. There wasn't but maybe 3 or 4 people each time we went up there, which I think was only twice. Not my kind of thing. I like activity. I like, a little more buzz. But if it's your thing, they also have that as well.
I think this area would come in a lot of handy if the resort was at capacity and the main pool's real busy and you want a little bit more quiet area, then you can go to that VIP area and you do have a smaller pool up there to yourself.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like after a long night hanging out at the beach,
Yeah.
You've been to dinner, you've had a few drinks, man, you're feeling just right. You want to go up there and chill with your mate or your gals. It might be kind of sexy. Just saying,
All right, you want to talk about Unico?
Do I want to talk about Unico?
Be still my heart. I loved Unico. Okay, so let me just kind of.
Is that a heart?
Unico blew us away, all right?
This was something like next level.
Yes. So Unico was the epitome of relaxation. It's a luxury resort, so the price tag is a little bit more. So it's one of those great for honeymoons, great for couples getaways. It is an adults only all inclusive.
Yeah, there was no kids, you guys.
Yeah, totally adults only. So yeah, if you're that couple that wants no kids around, Unico is your place. But let me tell you, just our room, we did have a beachfront view there. So you could walk out of our room, down the stairs, across a little bridge, and you were at the beach. You could hear the waves lapping up on the shore. It was the most relaxing thing ever.
You could hear wildlife. You could hear the birds and the toucans and the tropical birds and all these things going off, and it was just, you really felt like, here's what I felt like. You felt like, you're a rock star. Okay, all you guys can relate to this. You're a rock star and you're on vacation. You're off the road and you're gonna go to this secluded island where you can't be seen and you just want to chill. This felt like that kind of place. Like, it was so luxurious. You felt like you're on a castaway island on a really tropical beach that wasn't over commercialized. It still had that essence of natural.
Right.
It still had that natural essence about it. So it was so beautiful. No seaweed. It was just gorgeous. This long stretch of beach, there was only 3 that I could see resorts. Okay? So there was our resort, Unico, and then there was jungle.
Miles away.
Dense palm trees and forest between the next resort.
Right.
Whereas, in Cancun, the Hard Rock was resort row,
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I think in Cancun there's something like 30 or 50 hotels all in a row, and they do call it Hotel Row. And so you've got one right next to another.
See, I like that, but I like this too,
Yeah, totally different experience.
It's all about balance, right? But that was a nice change, you guys. This place, my gosh, if you can afford it, it is like, you gotta try it. It was just really awesome.
And we only did 2 nights there, so this is a little tip on how you can afford
That's right.
that little step of luxury. Go to Cancun or somewhere for 5 to 6 nights. Stay 3 nights in a more budget-friendly but still really nice resort, and then spend a couple of days at the more higher
Go out with a
priced
bang.
resort. Yeah, go out with a bang. Why not?
And then you got to go right back to reality after that. That kind of sucks.
So Unico was just absolutely amazing. So a little bit about the safety protocols at Unico. So whenever we got there...
Oh, it was, first of all, if I may interrupt.
Go ahead.
I just can't help myself. When we walked in, it was like I've never been greeted so warmly in all my life. I felt like royalty.
Yep.
I mean, guys, they greeted us with a platter of drinks, and they were called Jades, Jade. They had a thin slice of cucumber cut long ways in it, sparkling water, ginger, lemon juice, and that's it.
And it was so good.
That's it. And I said, well, there's no alcohol in here? He said, there's no alcohol. He said, but you can add alcohol, add vodka or gin, and it's called the Jade. So just a little tip, if you guys want to make a Jade, that's how you make it.
Yeah, it was
great.
Awesome. Yeah. So whenever we got into Unico, all of the staff wears masks all the time, but they told us, they said, you're home. They said, welcome home. You're at home. You don't have to wear your mask if you don't want to. And once we got into the resort, we understood why. It is very spread out.
Nobody wore their mask, guys.
Like Jason said, the next resort was miles away, and it was at reduced capacity. You didn't see another human unless you wanted to see another human.
Talk about social distancing. Social distancing in paradise is a whole nother level.
Right. So, I mean, the resort was just so big and spread out. You didn't feel the need to wear a mask indoors or outdoors.
Not
and
at all.
we never really came into contact with anybody unless we wanted to.
You get this personal assistant,
Yeah.
okay? When you walk through the door, they say, I'm your personal assistant. It's the same guy that offered the drinks up to us. It says, if you have any questions, any problems whatsoever, whatever your needs are, you call me. He is your direct contact. You call him. Now, he does work till like 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock, and then he's off.
Yeah.
You can't have him 24/7, which...
We tried.
Well,
Didn't work.
well, not to sound like jerks, but the only reason is because we were trying to figure out what time the fireworks were. We didn't think about that till after dinner, which was kind of
Right.
late.
Yeah, so we messaged him and didn't get an answer back, but we found out the next day it's because he was off, and it was fine. But it's cool. Yeah, your personal assistant will make all your dining reservations for you. You don't have to do that yourself.
Finally, I get a personal assistant.
Yes.
It was a beautiful thing.
And he contacted us through WhatsApp. I think it's WhatsApp, to where you're completely running on Wi-Fi. You don't have to worry about using your data for anything. So he would text us the full schedule of what was going on, any events that we wanted to see. We were there during the Mexican Independence Day.
That's right.
So there was a list of events going on for that. He made sure we know about those. It was really a really cool experience.
That's why they were popping the firecrackers.
Yeah, that's why they had fireworks.
And let me tell you what, that was the shortest fireworks show we never saw.
Because it
'Cause we
started.
missed it.
It started in our room, and we thought, oh, well, we'll be able to see them from our balcony.
We
No,
could hear
they were
them.
shooting them in the courtyard. So we're running out of our room. We were on the 5th floor, so down 5 flights of stairs because the elevator was taking too long. By the time we got out to the courtyard, they were done.
I'm like,
We missed them.
so I will say America's got the fireworks displays down. Way
Yes.
better. Like, I mean, that was just a teaser.
I will go back. I will 100% go back to Unico.
Yeah, it's very lush, very tropical. Like I said, it's very private. You really feel like you got something there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The beach was beautiful. There are some rocks. Like I said, it's very natural feeling. It's, you know, they didn't come in with dozers and doze this stuff. This is kind of like the way it is, but it just happens to be natural beauty.
Right.
And you don't mess with that, right? So, but there are some rocks, but you can just see the very white sandy areas where you can actually walk really far out and go up onto sandbars and be really far away from the beach, and it's just turquoise water, beautiful sands, but there's some trails of sand through the rocks. You'll see them, just follow those, no problem.
Did we have food delivered to our lounge chairs?
We did. We had food delivered. You can go and sit down on the beach and they will deliver food to you. This resort was a totally different experience. Food was stellar. The pool area was great. It wasn't busy. Just like the Hard Rock, it wasn't busy. It felt like they were not even at half, not even at 50% capacity.
I think they're at 30% right now.
Yeah, it definitely felt less than 50%. There was enough people. I could have probably liked more people, but I guess if you're social distancing and you want to protect yourself from the COVID, it's not such a bad thing, right? But now is a good time to actually get out there and vacation, because not a lot of people are. And so you're gonna be social distancing because not a lot of people are wanting to go. You'll have the beach to yourself, or at least, you know, 30% capacity.
Right.
So, and it's just a great experience, really.
We had a great time. Like Jason said, we're ready to go back again.
Yeah.
I think that we'll continue cruising. Cruising is so iffy right now that I'm glad that we have this alternative. Guys, if you don't have a passport, get
one.
a passport.
Right now, go get it.
Yes, because if we didn't have passports, we couldn't do this.
You're stuck.
This was such an amazing experience. I'm glad that we did this. So this is one of the only few good things that's come out of COVID, is that we have learned something new. We have been cruising, and that's all we did was cruise. And now that we can't cruise, we're looking for alternative ways to travel. And this flying to Mexico or flying to Jamaica or Aruba, there's a lot of Caribbean islands that are open right now. Not all of them, but a lot are. So find out what's open. Go find you an all-inclusive that you're interested in. By the way, I am a travel agent. If you need some help planning these trips, I'm more than happy to help you with that.
Absolutely.
But this has just been such a fantastic experience for us that we want to make sure that you guys know how much we've enjoyed it and that you experience it for yourselves.
Yeah, we wanted to see for ourselves. We can't sit around and wait for cruising to resume.
Right.
And we did that at first. But we're not cheating on cruising. We're just not waiting on it no more. When it comes back, we'll be the first ones on the ship, I promise you. But in the meantime, plan B is not so bad, you guys. Get a passport, get a plan B, go vacation, and enjoy your life.
Yep, get out there and enjoy yourselves.
Anyway, that was our little review of our little trip to Mexico. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you haven't already, give us a like, give us that thumbs up, and smash that subscribe button if you don't mind. It sure would help us out. Leave some comments below.
Have you been to Mexico? Have you been to an all-inclusive resort? Leave us a comment below. Let us know what your favorite resort is. What's the most your favorite thing about all-inclusive resorts? We'd love to hear your input as well.
All right, we'll see y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.